Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the presentation. This is our fifth installment in our WordPress AdSense affiliate marketing training. You guys are looking at my screen right now. This is Albion Strawberry. This is what we've been working on together since we started this whole thing, and we're going to continue to work on it together. So what I've done just in preparation for tonight is I wrote Albion's very first blog post, okay? Nothing super fancy. We're going to use it as a portion of our training tonight. And that's what you guys should be doing too, because at this stage, if you've seen the other content and you've been working on your WordPress site, by now you should have your niche chosen, a domain name chosen. You should have your design mostly set up, and that's kind of what we did last week. We talked about logos and color schemes and very basic, simple setup, which is what we have here. And tonight we're going to talk about just getting content onto the site and some of the other administrative things you want to do on your site to get it ready to post ads. We're not ready yet, and that's why you're not going to see any ads on this site yet, but we will be ready soon. Okay, so let me show you my first blog post, and I'm going to show you how to create one. Okay, remember, when you're doing an affiliate site, you don't have to think of yourself as a blogger necessarily. What we're doing is we're creating what are called landing pages, okay? And what a landing page is when somebody does a search in Google and is looking for some piece of information, we want one of our pages on our website to show up in Google so that when they click on that page, it takes them into our site. Every single blog post you create is a potential landing page. In other words, it's a doorway into your website. So here's how you create a blog post, okay? You come into you load in or load up your administrative section of your site. And I covered this a minute ago before I started recording, but if you're ever looking to get into your admin, and let's say we're just sitting here at google.com, here's the way I do it. I type in my domain name, albionstrawberry.com/wp-admin. Okay? Just obviously with your domain. yourdomain.com/wp-admin. Do a search. And then you'll ask for your username and password. This you would have created with one-on-one when you were setting up your blog. So I've got my username and password here. I'm going to hit login, and that's going to take me into my WordPress page. Okay? This is my back office here in my WordPress page. Okay? If I want to see my site, I'm going to come up here to visit site. Albion Strawberry, I'm going to click visit site, and it's going to take me out here to my website. Okay? Now you'll notice there's a brand new blog post right here, and I wrote this up today. I did this blog post in 25 minutes. Okay, didn't take me very long. I did a little research, which I'll explain to you here in just a minute. Chose the topic, which is Albion Strawberry yield per plant. Without reading this, guys, you'll find that an Albion strawberry plant will yield about 1 pound of strawberries a year under ideal conditions. And you see that little picture there of the carton? It's kind of like what you guys would see in the grocery store if you were buying strawberries. By the way, for those of you guys that do buy strawberries, how much do you think one of those little cartons would cost? Holds about a pound. I actually buy strawberries every single week. I've got 2 little strawberry eaters at my house. One's almost 4, and one is just a little over 1, and they love eating strawberries, which is partially why we've decided to grow a strawberry patch at our house. But what do you think? I'm wondering what it costs for you guys. $4.50, you say, Catherine? I think in Utah it depends. I mean, I think these aren't necessarily organic, not the ones that we buy anyway. I think they generally run about $5, but it depends on whether or not the strawberries in season. About $5 is about what it costs. Well, that's about how much one of those plants yields. The cool thing about these strawberries, and then I'll get off the strawberry kick. I love this stuff, but the cool thing about these is they actually yield fruit all the way through spring, summer, and fall. So right now, we're still in Utah, if you can imagine. We're still picking strawberries at my house every single day and using them for my kids' cereal and snacks and all sorts of different things. That's what makes these really, really unique. Whereas a lot of other varieties of strawberries, they just crank them all out sort of early summer, late spring, and then that's all you have. So I did a little research, and I found out that that's a commonly asked question is Albion strawberry yield per plant. Here's how I figured it out. If you guys have ever done any keyword research with me before, you'll know of this tool right here. Keywordtool.io. How many of you guys have heard of this website? Keywordtool.io. I'm going to send the link out to everybody here. Okay, this is one of my favorite tools. I type in whatever my niche is, Albion strawberry in this case, and I do a search. Keywordtool.io is going to give me specifically in Google what comes up historically when somebody types in Albion strawberry. The very next word that comes up, it's the Google autofill thing. So if you've ever been on Google before and you type in, I'm doing a search for Albion strawberry, it gives me suggested words that come after it based on historical search volume. And so what keywordtool.io does is it gives me historically what are some of the more popular keyword phrases associated with my Google search, okay? So this is a great way to come up with topics to write about because this is stuff that people are obviously typing in. So I went through here and I found that, I'll see if I can find it for you guys. It was in this list somewhere. Oh, right here. Albion strawberry yield per plant. Okay, that's commonly searched for, at least according to the statistics here. That would be if you typed in Albion strawberry and then typed in the letter Y after it, that would be the most likely search phrase. So that's something that real people are looking for. So I decided to take just a minute and did a little bit of research on it. Now, guys, I don't know what the yield per plant is. That just means how many strawberries per plant can I assume to get in a calendar year or a growing season. And so I didn't know that off the top of my head. So what did I do? I just typed it into Google. Albion strawberry yield per plant. And I did some research. I found some studies and some information about it that I sort of just learned. I learned for myself as I looked through these studies. So I probably took like 15 minutes, figured out that generally they don't yield as high of a yield as some other varieties. They do it all throughout the year, about a pound each, depending on certain conditions, blah, blah, blah. I wrote up my blog post, okay? All of my blog posts that I wrote here is totally and completely unique, meaning I wrote it myself. It wasn't anything copied and pasted, okay? Now, the cool thing is, I obviously got this information from other places, and within my blog post here, as you scroll down, I link out to one of the studies I used. I say for more information, see it here. And if you click see it here, it's a study done by the University of Minnesota about production rates of different strawberry plants. Okay. So I cited that source. You don't have to cite all your sources when you're doing a blog. It's not that formal. But sometimes it builds a little bit of authority and credibility. When people read this, they're going to be like, oh, it's data-driven stuff. It's accurate, and it's going to bring a little authority to my site. So anyway, bottom line is, and this is why I'm telling you this right now, guys, when you choose your niche and you're doing your blog, you don't want to copy any content and put it on your site. You may need to do a little research like I did today, 30 minutes worth of research and writing to create your blog post, but that's essentially what I did. And I won't read through the blog post. You can see it's not very long. In fact, if I highlight all the words here and copy them, I'll tell you just how many words it is. That's a common question. A lot of you guys have asked me in the past, how long should my blog post be? This one is 372 words. 372 words, okay? Now, if you're not a writer or writing doesn't come easily, it may take you a little bit longer than that. But again, the exciting thing for me when I write a blog post like this is going to be, once I get done marketing this is going to be in Google forever, as long as my site is active. And what I'm hoping happens is this. If I do my keywords and my SEO right on this page, what I'm hoping is that when somebody types in Albion strawberry yield per plant, that my site actually shows up here at the very top, or at least somewhere here on the front page. And if it does over the years, and I put advertising on this page, I can create for myself off of one blog post a steady income of ad revenue. Now, this blog post, again, just to put things into perspective, this took me, probably more like 40 minutes after all my research and writing and editing, 40 minutes. Okay, and I've now made officially $0 off of this blog post because I don't have any ads on it yet. But once I get some ads on there, let's say I only make, I don't know, $2 a month off of this blog post in ad revenue. That wouldn't be very much, would it? $2 a month would be hardly anything. But what if that's all I made? Okay, well, in the space of a year, that's $24 for my 40 minutes of work. I know some of you guys probably make better hourly wages than you know, what is that? That'd be like 36 bucks an hour. Some of you guys make better money than that. Not worth your time. But imagine if I keep this blog post up for the next 10 years, right? It stays out there in Google. It's there for 10 years. Well, if I keep that same rate of $2 per month, that's $24 a year times by 10 years. That's $240 of income coming into me off of one blog post. Now, again, I realize that's over a 10-year period. We're not getting rich off of that, right? I'm only making 24 bucks a year off of this thing. But imagine for me just a second that you've got 1,000 articles on one of these websites. And then every single article is making you $2 a month. Okay? Then all of a sudden you're starting to talk about real money. Now, $2 a month, I threw that number out pretty arbitrarily. I've got blog posts that make a whole lot more than that per month, and some that make less. It just depends. But what you hope is you create lots and lots of these what we call landing pages, and that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what a blog post is. It's a landing page. As you create multiple landing pages, and you get in the habit of doing a little bit of content every single week. In fact, with this, I've got a lot of other projects going, but while we're doing this example together, I'll probably try to do a blog post maybe once a week or so you guys can see this blog progress as you're doing your own. And you'll see as you get into a habit over time, you create a lot of content and give yourself a lot of opportunities to make truly passive income, and that's kind of what this is all about. So does that make sense, guys? That's what a landing page is. It's really the goal of one of these blogs. All right, let's see here. Let me see if I've got any comments. You do not need the pro tool, Sally. So keywordtool.io, just use the free tool. You don't need to get the pro. This is just to help us come up with ideas, this keyword tool. Maybe next week I'll look through here and here's one right here, Albion strawberry scientific name. I could write a short blog post that tells what the scientific name is and answers that question. I rank in Google for that over the years. I can make revenue. Anyway, you get the point. I'll do something else next week. But this is just a good way to help me figure out how to do a blog post. Now, for the practical part of tonight, I want to show you guys how to go in and actually create one. Creating pages and landing pages in WordPress is very easy to do. Here's how you start. You get into your dashboard section of your site, and you find the posts section right here. You see that? That's the posts section. Okay. And then you get this other menu, all posts, add new, category, etc. I'm just going to click on the word posts, and I'll take you into the posts section. And there you see my one single post right here, right? Well, I could edit this if I want to. Here's the edit option. I could trash it if I didn't like it. I could delete it completely. I can view it, etc. I'm not going to do anything with this. We're going to create a brand new one. So I can come all the way up here to the top and select Add New. Okay? And here I am to create a brand new post. Okay? So let's say, for example, that we're going to do one on the Albion strawberry scientific name. That's going to be my topic. I'll probably just use that as my title, to be honest. Although you don't always have to use your target keyword phrase as your title. In this case, I will. So let's come back here. Whoops, where's my blog? Here it is. I'll call this Albion Strawberry Scientific Name. Okay. Well, I have no idea. You guys know what the scientific name is? I sure don't. Let's go find out real quick. That's what's great about this, guys. You just have to have an interest in what you're doing. You don't have to know it all. Let's see, Albion Strawberry Scientific Name. Let's see if we can find it here. Here's a resource here at the top with a scientific name of that right there. However you say that, Fragaria X and Ananassa. Oh well. I'm not a scientist, but it looks like that's the scientific name. Now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go to Google and just make sure. I guess this is typical of any garden strawberry, it looks like. Garden strawberry. So this is just a type of garden strawberry. I don't know if they have anything more specific to this. Okay, I'm going to look at one other place. Not here on Wikipedia. I wonder if strawberries just have one general scientific name. Any plant experts with me tonight that can verify that? I'm seeing that same Fragaria or whatever it's called over and over again. All right, so most everbearing strawberry types are also Fragaria X Ananassa hybrids. Okay. Yep, species right here, Fragaria Ananassa. Okay, so there you go. I can say for 100% certainty, I've found it in several places that that's what it is. Now, to my blog post. I would take a minute and I'd write a paragraph here explaining that that's what the scientific name is. I might say something about how, you know, there are other scientific names, but this is generally for a garden variety of strawberry plant. and that's it. And I'm done. I'm not going to do the post with you guys right this second. I guess I could write something up really quick. Give me like 30 seconds here. I'll write something up super fast. All right, guys, good enough. So, I mean, most blog posts that you do, you're going to want more content than this, and I could get more wordy here, and I could put in more, anyway, more information, and anyway, I should probably edit it and flesh it out just a little bit more. But just for the sake of our example here, this will be good. So it says, I'm just going to read it out loud and make sure it makes sense. The Albion strawberry scientific name is Fragaria x ananassa. This scientific name isn't necessarily, need to fix that. Read your stuff out loud. That's a good rule of thumb, right? This scientific name isn't necessarily specific only to, I'm not going to put only, to the Albion variety. In fact, most day neutral or everbearing strawberries have the exact same scientific name. They are all simply hybrids of the scientific name. Okay, so that's good enough. There's my blog post. Now I can save this as a draft if I want. If I'm still working on this and I don't want to have it published on the site, I can just hit Save Draft, and then I can come back to it later. If I actually go back out to my site right now, it's not going to show up on the page. Okay, right? I've still just got my original blog post. But let's say I'm happy with it. So let's go back to my dashboard. We'll go to Posts, All Posts. I can come up here. This is a draft, so I can edit it. I've got all my information there. I can preview it if I want to see how it'll look. So if I click Preview over here, that's going to show me how my blog post is going to look. Again, I'm a little hesitant to just publish only this. I know it's pretty straight and to the point, but maybe I could add some more content and do just a little bit more research. But just for the sake of this example, we'll do it. So that's how it'll look. If I'm pleased with that, I can hit publish and it'll show up on my site. Before I do though, I'd prefer to kind of spice it up and have some kind of an image on the blog post. So I'm going to go out here to where I get a lot of my images, onto Shutterstock.com. Now Shutterstock is a paid image directory, guys, so I don't expect you guys to come here necessarily. I think last week I sent you guys out a resource for images, for free images and where to find them. We'll be talking more about that in some of our trainings. I'm going to see if there's any good images for scientific name. No. Scientific research. Something that would go along well with this. It's nice just to have, you know, at least a little bit of a visual, something that you can add to the blog post. I don't see anything that I necessarily like. Try some different searches, see if I can find out. Oh, this isn't a bad picture right here. Somebody in a lab with strawberries. It's actually perfect. Or one of these right here. I don't want to show a picture of a strawberry being injected. That's not really the look I'm going for. All right, for right now, I'm just going to use this picture right here. I love having this site, guys, but it's expensive. I think we pay a couple $100 a month for it. So I wouldn't recommend that you guys pay that. There's plenty of free image resources out there. And when I save this image, I'm going to save it as my keyword phrase. You can kind of see it here on my desktop. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I just saved the image right down here. It's saved as Albion Strawberry scientific name. I want to use my keyword phrase and my image file name. That's always wise for the search engines. So I can come in here. Here's how to add a picture. I'm going to add it at the bottom of my blog post right here. I'm going to come up here and click Add Media. And I'm going to upload files right here. And I'm going to select files from my computer. There's my file that I just downloaded. I'll double click on it. It'll load it up in. I can put a caption on the photo, an alt text. I'm going to put in Albion Strawberry scientific name on the alt text. That's just for SEO purposes, which we'll be talking more about later. And then I'm going to hit insert into post. There it is. Now the way it shows up here doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be how it shows up on the site. So I'm going to just preview it once the picture's in, and we'll see what it looks like. Yeah, there it is. It's kind of a small picture. Okay, it's not very big. If I want to expand that out, I probably can. Let's edit my post here and see if I can make this picture just a little bit bigger. If I click on it once, I can click edit. size. Oh, right here. Here's the size. I can hit full size and hit update, and then preview. Let's see if we like that a little bit better. Yep. So that image looks nice. It's a little bit bigger, a little nicer to look at. I'm happy with that. Okay. So there's the image. Sorry, I haven't been looking at your questions very well. Let's look back at some. Yeah, some people want just a quick read. I agree with that, Kirk. Yeah, I agree, Catherine. Catherine says I should expand out on what hybrid means or the origin of the name Albion. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea. Yeah, I sure can. Let me send out the link for free images. See if I can find the one that I usually send out to you guys. Oh, yeah. Here's the link. There you go. Sally, you should get that. Let me know if you got that, Sally. Everybody else should have caught that link as well. Michelle, you had a hard time getting free images. We'll talk more about that in one of these sessions. Because images are key on your site, right? And as we've talked about before, there's no reason to go out there and get copyrighted images. It's too risky. When you're blogging and you're using as many images as you are, you don't want to use somebody else's stuff. Go find stuff that's public domain. These are paid images that I'm using. Use free stuff that you're not going to get in trouble for. And that's what this resource is designed to do. Where do you add the alt tag? Right here, Catherine. If I click on the image again, I can hit edit. And here it is right here. This is the alternative text. For those of you guys that don't know what that is, that's just something that the search engine looks at when they're looking to identify what the picture is. The interesting thing is when Google looks at this blog post and they're looking at the image, Google can't tell what the image is about. Google is, of course, a robot. They can't see the image and understand it. So we give them what's called alt text, which is a keyword phrase that basically tells Google what the image is. And I'm telling Google that that's the Albion strawberry scientific name in hopes that it helps me increase in my Google rankings. It is on every WordPress theme. Yep, Catherine, this is standard on WordPress just for the engine itself. Okay, so once I've done that, one thing that I like to do is I like to categorize. So over here, there's a categories section. I already created a category called strawberry plant yields the other day or this morning. I don't know really what this fits into as a category. I might add a new category called interesting strawberry facts, something like that. Okay. And I'm going to hit add new category. And there it is. And whatever this blog post fits into, I'm going to select a category. Let me zoom in just a little bit on this page so you can see it better. So I'm going to select interesting strawberry facts. So now it's categorized, and you need to categorize everything really easily so that people can find what you're looking or what they're looking for on your site. And then we're done. Okay. Now I'm going to hit publish. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you is this right here is called the permalink. This is your web address for the page. You can edit the permalink and change the actual page web address here. I'm going to leave it as Albion-strawberry-scientific name. They automatically take that from the title. If you wanted to adjust that, make it shorter, make it fit more for what the content of the page is, you can. I try to make it targeted around a certain keyword phrase, okay? All right, let's go out and look at it, see how it looks on the site. So let's visit the site. Here we are. So you'll notice at the top of my page is my new blog post, Albion Strawberry Scientific Name. There's the little paragraph I wrote. There's my picture. As I keep scrolling down the page, I come to my next one, Albion strawberry yield per plant. So the way this is going to work is every time I create a new blog post, it's just going to continue to build on top of the other ones. Does that make sense? So my next one is going to show up on top of this blog post, so on and so forth, and then they're just going to bury each other. You can decide how many blog posts you want on your homepage. You could limit it to like 5 or 10, and then make it to where somebody has to scroll through your other pages to see your other information. It's going to work that, I'm going to have lots of categories here on my left-hand side, so I can categorize all my content. So anyway, I'll probably categorize my stuff, and this list will grow here on the left. Okay. This stuff here on the left, we call these widgets in WordPress. Okay. Currently, I have 3 widgets is all. I have a categories widget. I have a recent post widget, which posts automatically for me links to my most recently written articles. And then I have a search widget right here at the very bottom. I know widget is kind of a funny sounding word, but that's what WordPress calls them. They're over here under appearance inside your admin section, and they're here under widgets, appearance, and then widgets. And you can see I can add different widgets to this section. Okay, I could click on this calendar widget, drag it over, and drop it. Okay. I could drag over a text widget. Maybe I want a text widget at the very top here, and I write out a bunch of text right here. Okay. Whatever text I want. This is just for fun to customize your site a little bit. Okay, I could save that. I could save my calendar widget, and then I could come out here and visit my site, and this is what it looks like. Here's that little bit of text I added. Here's my calendar widget right here. Okay. So widgets they're pieces of content that will show up on every page of my site. It doesn't matter where I am. This stuff's always going to show up here in my side navigation. Okay. Those are widgets. We can play more with that later. That's a little more about the design of your site. So we won't mess with that too much right now. If I want to delete a widget, I come back into the widget area under text. I can hit delete. Under calendar, I don't know why I would need a calendar. I'm going to delete that, so on and so forth. Okay, and that comes standard in most WordPress pages. Okay. So yes, Catherine asks, if I were adding an AdSense advertisement, would I use a widget? In this case, I would. I would add a text widget, right here at the bottom. Or if I'm adding AdSense, I'd probably put it up towards the top. And I would paste in my AdSense code right here and hit save, and then my AdSense ad would show up on my blog. I do that in widgets sometimes. There's other places you can put your AdSense code, but that's one place I definitely would do it. Once again, I'll delete this. Get rid of it. Sure. Links back to your own store, Rob, you bet. You add a text widget like that. Whoops, text. I'll drag that back over. And I could add a link here. Okay. Come visit Financial Nut. Okay. Say I want to create a link for this. I would have to know the HTML to create a link. So if you don't know HTML, what you would really need to do if you wanted to make a link here, because really you'd have to know how to do something like this. Financialnut.com. Let's see if that worked. HTML is scary for a lot of my clients because they're terrified of knowing how to do any code at all. Yep, there we go. That link works. If I click on it, it takes me out to Financial Nut. Knowing how to do a little bit of HTML is good. Is a really good skill to have. If I didn't know any HTML and I was trying to create this same sort of effect, let's go back here. Let's actually create a quick post. I'm going to go to the post section and I'm going to add new. And I'm going to create the HTML using the little WYSIWYG builder here. So I'm going to go something like, come visit my website, financial nut, okay? And then what I would do is whatever I want to have linked, I would highlight, like financial nut, and I would click on this little insert link, and I would type in the web address for financial nut, okay? I'd hit add link, and then I could grab the HTML for this. I would just come over here and hit this little text option here at the top right, grab the HTML, whoops, copy this, right? I can highlight it, right click on it, copy. I'm going to trash this post that I just created because I only just created that post so that I could get the HTML. Go back to appearance, widgets, come into my text, paste my HTML, okay? Paste. Okay, we can do more of that later, but that's just kind of an FYI. That's how you grab HTML from another place of your site and paste it in a widget. That probably is confusing to a lot of you guys. We'll talk about that more in detail later on. Don't let that confuse you. So we'll delete that. So anyway, those are widgets. One other section we need to briefly cover is your plugins section right here. There's two plugins that are absolutely essential on your WordPress site. One is a default plugin called Askamet, I guess is how you pronounce it. It's a spam protector. It's going to protect your site from getting tons of spam comments. Okay, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a client years ago that had a WordPress site, and we were just starting to work together, and he was bragging to me about how busy his site was and about all the traffic he was getting, but how his traffic wasn't very good, and he couldn't figure out why. And I asked him, I said, well, how do you know you have so much traffic on your site? And he said, well, Trevor, I get thousands of comments on my blog every single day. Well, we went and we looked at his comments, and they were all spam. And the reason they were all spam is he didn't have this Askamet activated. So Askamet is it's what we call a plugin. A plugin is similar to if I have an iPhone. An iPhone is really cool in and of itself, but an iPhone is a whole lot cooler if I get apps installed onto it, right? Well, WordPress in this case is like your iPhone, and plugins are like the apps. So I add this application, this app to my WordPress called Askamet, and it prevents lots of spam comments on my blog. The other one you're going to want is called Yoast SEO, Y-O-A-S-T, Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO is a way to help your blog with its SEO. And in order to find these, and I'll explain more about those later. We don't have time to do it tonight. But if you needed to find a plugin, you just come up here to Add New, and you can go out and search the whole list of plugins, just like you would search the App Store. You can type in Yoast SEO and do a search, and sure enough, you would find it right here. Most plugins don't cost you anything. There's some that do. Just if you're ever going to do anything with plugins, my advice is just get the recommended ones. Don't download a whole lot of them. There was one, not to scare you guys, there's one time years ago that I downloaded a bunch of plugins and had them activated and then just kind of forgot about them as I was testing them. Well, one of the plugins had a virus on it, and it got into my blog and was messing some things up. Later, I found out that was the case, and I deleted the plugin and it fixed it. So, most of them are safe. If you'll download good quality ones that have lots of good reviews, I'm sure they're going to be fine. But check with your coach on which plugins you need. I can tell you right now that the Askamet and the Yoast SEO are the two that you're definitely going to want on the site. Okay. All right, we'll go into more detail on that later. Right now, here's your takeaway from tonight's meeting, guys. It's time to create content, and I don't want you to try to put advertisements on your blog yet. You shouldn't be signing up with affiliates. You certainly shouldn't be posting any AdSense or trying to set up your AdSense account, not until you get a bunch more content on the site. And there's some other little administrative things that we'll talk about before you do that. So between now and then, I'm going to work on a little bit of content here on the site, get some practice with it. You'll want to set up a schedule for yourself and do X number of blog posts per week. I'm going to be doing one per week for now, and maybe more. I'll see what I can do. You guys are welcome to check in on Albion Strawberry as much as you want and just kind of see what I'm doing here. You know, I know it's not, I know your sites aren't going to be about strawberries, of course, but you know, take some of the things I'm doing and try to apply them to your site as you get started here. We're at the tip of the iceberg here, guys. I mean, there's just, I can only cover so much in these Thursday webinars, but hopefully tonight's was enough to get you writing some content and do a good job. Your content is really all you have to offer the world here, right? We're not selling any products on these sites. We're just trying to take information, organize it in a way that looks nice and that internet searchers will want to see. And if we do a good job and Google respects us and trusts us, they're going to rank us high, and there's going to be a big opportunity to make money off of these websites using the ads that we'll show you how to do later. Okay? All right. Well, we'll do more on ads as we go, maybe next time. I know some of you guys have wanted us to spend more time on AdSense and actually the practical application of getting some ads on your site. We'll see. I need more content on the site first before I'm going to do that, so I'm going to work on that, and then we'll do some more next week. Okay? All right, let me look over at the questions, and then we'll get finished up. Sorry, this went just a little, I thought this would be a shorter session. Tonight's went a little longer than I thought, so thanks for hanging around. Let's see what questions we still have, and fire away if you've got any before we finish up. You know, Connie, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I don't know if some of you guys are feeling this way or if it's just Connie. I suspect it's not just you, Connie, but let me read your comment. Connie says, although I keep watching each webinar, I feel all of the viewers here are so much further along than I am. Should I worry about being more advanced than I am? No, you shouldn't. And you know, I've been doing these webinars, these marketing webinars on Thursday nights for over a year. And I'll tell you what, like, you know, a lot of my clients here are new. I've got clients here that have been with me for the better part of a year and some that only have been with me for a few weeks. If you feel like this is a little advanced, that's okay. Talk to your coach about whether or not you should continue to come to the Thursday night ones. I'd like you here because I think this is stuff that you're all going to need to learn anyway. Even if you're brand new in the program, eventually you're going to want to learn WordPress, so you might as well continue to come. But Connie, don't worry if you feel like some of this was a little fast or a little over your head. That's okay. You'll get caught up to speed. You definitely will. I think all of my clients have felt that way at one point or another, for sure. Yeah, Kirk. So you want to start your content because when you try to apply for AdSense, this is Kirk's question. So in other words, to summarize, should I just start working on content before Google AdSense? And the answer is definitely yes. So you should, you probably want to get 10, 15 good articles written on your blog, on your website. Then go ask for AdSense. You can go submit your application. I'll show you guys how to do that later. And then you'll start promoting and marketing at that point. That's the order of operation here. We're still on the building content portion of this. Yeah, you can, Rob. You can write your content wherever you want and then copy it in. I really prefer to do it on WordPress itself. There's been times where if you've written it up on like Microsoft Word and then copied it into WordPress, that the formatting is kind of messed up, and Microsoft Word brings in all sorts of crazy coding that doesn't really look very clean. I tend to like to write my content up here in WordPress to prevent that. I think that's a smarter way of doing it. Catherine, you asked, how do you get your background image so big and static? You know, on this theme, this background image, which is, I think you're probably talking about like the strawberry leaf and the brown dirt in the background. The image itself is huge. It's a giant image. We did that for a reason. That way we didn't have to tile it or make it repeat. So if you can get a really giant, high quality image and set that as your background, it'll work out well. But the image size, it's huge. It's a 4 or 5,000 pixel image. It's a big image, and that's why it works. Oh, good, Joe. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you here. This was Joe's first webinar with us, so we're definitely glad to have you. Hopefully, this wasn't super overwhelming. And to Connie, your point, Kirk says he feels a little the same way, so you're not the only one. Yeah, I hear you. It's tough, Kirk, getting a business up off the ground. You know, if this is your first time, kind of as an entrepreneur, you feel the strain of, you know, trying to live life, going to work, maintaining relationships with friends and family, trying to have some semblance of a normal life while you're trying to get a business off the ground. It causes for a little more stress, a little less sleep, and a lot more work. But anybody who's ever been successful online has kind of paid the price, and that's the price you have to pay. But if we can train you and teach you how to do it the right way, you guys are going to end up doing great. Okay. Yeah, Pam, we just finished up, but the good news is we'll record it. We'll put it up online for you. All right, great. Well, come on back next week. We'll more on WordPress and affiliate sites, guys. Hopefully this series has been good. Again, if you don't have your WordPress set up, let me know, and I'll help you get that done, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks again, and I will see you next Thursday night. See you soon.